ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen to? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading you this ad. I enjoy using Anchor to give great, fun, bizarre news to all of you lovely folks out there. And I just love the fact that it's easy to use. I just hit the record button, I edit my clip, and I send it, and I'm done. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast making money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back. We made it. It's the halfway point of the week. I hope everyone is enjoying it and having a great summer since it's almost wrapping up and everyone will be back to their regularly scheduled programs. For those of you just tuning in, this is season 2 of Grabbit Bizarre Sex News. A big thanks to everyone who's listening and a big shout out to the people who have the courage to send me letters. As I stated last podcast episode for season 2, we're going to be doing this podcast a little differently. Last season, I would post 2 separate shows. One would strictly be about the latest bizarre sex news, and the second would be me answering letters. Me and my team have decided that we're going to condense the show. So the first half is going to be newsworthy stories. The second half will be answering letters. So if you like this new format, let me know. If you don't, again, let me know. So let's get started. But before we do, if you're not 18 or older, you should not be listening without your parents' consent. Beachgoers were stunned to see a couple engaging in a very public sex act. The pair were caught on camera on the beach near Huff Lane, which was busy with families enjoying the sun at the time. In the photo, the woman can be seen laying naked and holding what appears to be a can of lager, possibly Stella Artois. Her partner is wearing only shorts and appears to be performing a sex act on her. This incident occurred around 3 p.m. on Thursday. An onlooker said that they were taken back and shocked. They had to double take and looked around to see if anybody was seeing what they were seeing. They went at it for a few minutes, then stopped and cuddled for a bit, but the onlooker says that they kept going. They said that the woman was looking around to make sure nobody was watching. If this was a nudist beach, they wouldn't have batted an eye. But this is a public beach where there are young children or teenagers, and it's just not acceptable. They hadn't seen anything like this before in public on a weekday afternoon. A conservative city councilor, Dawn Barnett, was outraged. She was quoted saying that she thought it was bloody disgusting. She didn't care what goes on behind doors, but on the seafront in view of families and kids, what is the matter with human beings? I think they ought to be caught and fined to make them think twice. For them to do this at the height of the summer, where we have children, parents, and old people on the beach, who wants to sit and watch that? I'm disgusted with it. Where's the decency? Their principles are out of the window. Ever since they made this a protest city, people think they've got the right to do whatever they like. We've had smut, and more smut. They've made this area disgusting. It's gone back to the smutty 30s. This story takes place June 10th of 2019, written by Matthew Dresch. It is about a woman who's 24. She was shot dead after using a loaded gun for arousal in a sex game gone wrong. So the story goes that two lovers were reportedly under the influence of drugs when the shooting took place in Florida. Her name was Paloma Williams, and Andrew Charles Chenault, her lover, shot her in an apparent accident. So apparently they were playing in a sex game gone wrong, and they were playing with the loaded gun. Andrew Charles Chenault is 23, and he told the police that he and Paloma, who was 24, had been using this pistol for sexual gratification and arousal. It is said that he accidentally shot the victim, who he had been dating for 2 weeks, at his home in Virilco, Florida. So Chenault reportedly told police that he was on the edge of his bed. Paloma was between his legs when the suspected accident happened. He said both of them rubbed his 9mm Taurus pistol over each other's bodies before he accidentally pulled the trigger. According to The Sun, the suspect was arrested for manslaughter, then screamed for his parents to come upstairs and help him. Paloma, who had a serious chest wound, was rushed to the hospital and later died. Chenault told the authorities that both of them were under the influence of drugs at the time of the shooting, and he had taken methamphetamines 2 hours before the incident, while Paloma was supposedly on fentanyl, a really powerful opioid. So the shooter speculated that his lover had inadvertently turned off the safety catch while playing with the slide of his gun. However, officers were not convinced by this theory, as the switch is hard to, quote-unquote, accidentally move. So the police searched Chenault's room and found a bullet, a casing, and a hole in a TV, which would have been behind where Paloma was located during the shooting. Hillsborough County Sheriff says that Andrew Chenault shot a woman while engaging in an act of foreplay involving his registered handgun. The woman, who was shot in the upper body, was transported to Brandon Regional Hospital, where she later died. So it is still under further investigation. Woman strangled to death by pantyhose by Army officer in BDSM sex game gone wrong. Lorena Mazzio, originally from Argentina, was murdered by a Felix Daza Cabiza at a house on the Canary Islands, the police say. This happened around April 2019. An Army officer strangled his lover to death with a shower hose when a BDSM game went wrong, the police say. This Feliz Daza Cabeza is accused of murder of Lorena Mazzio, whom he allegedly persuaded to engage in the sadomasochistic encounter in the shower. Cabeza told a court yesterday he called her to his home as a prostitute, but defense says that Cabeza and Miss Mazzio were in a relationship and she was a journalist. The court in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in Canary Islands heard the game involved Cabeza wrapping the shower hose around the woman's neck as they had sex with the water running. So Feliz Daza Cabeza is now on trial for murder, but police later found Miss Mazzio's body with the hose still around her neck. The prosecution alleged that the Army officer took Miss Mazzio's lingerie, bed sheets, and her 2 mobile phones and fled because he was scared. The lawyer said this is evidence he planned the attack and should be sentenced to murder, which is 20 years in Gran Canaria. Miss Mazzio was strangled to death in the shower, but Mr. Cabeza claims the day of her death, October 23rd of 2016, was the first time that they had met in person. He insists he called her over just as a sex worker. Prosecutors are asking for $40,000 euros in compensation for each of Lorenia's heartbroken parents. They also want 20,000 euros for her sister, and the trial continues. The first letter comes from a male in Texas. He writes, "Dear Jessica, I met my soulmate a few weeks ago at a get-together. She was smart, caring, and enjoyed the same things that I did. I was approached later by an old school friend who told me that this girl I'm currently interested in is trans. I didn't believe it and was shocked. I approached her about it, and since then, we have lost touch. I feel like an idiot. I think I have made a huge mistake. Do you have any advice to give? Well, Mail in Texas, thank you so much for writing me this letter. I think it's really cute. So you met someone you liked, and someone told you a shocking secret about them. I mean, you have to look at it like this. There are haters in the world, and sometimes they can be your friend. Who knows why he told you this secret, number one? Because that was basically what he did. He did a very dirty thing by even mentioning this secret, because someone's sexuality is a secret that they need to be able to tell you one-on-one. Like, it's more intimate that way. And you just said it yourself. You guys just met a few weeks ago. So she could have been working up to that, but for him to just see that you were enamored with her enough to be like, hey, he may have thought he was doing it as a friend, but he's an old school friend, so you know how old school friends are. Like, how long ago, was the last time you saw him? Is he that kind of school friend where you only see him once a year, you know what I mean? Or is he like a school friend where you guys see each other on the regular? That would determine how much weight to bear with the responsibility that friend played as far as revealing the secret of the sexuality of this person that you're interested in. So now the next question I'm sure you want to know is, does this make you gay? No, this does not make you gay. This just makes you a person who sees another person's identity for what it is. And this person is trans, so their heart is in the right place, and you fell in love with their heart and their mind, and you have to just allow that to work for you if that's something that you want. If it's not, don't leave this person on. Let them find, who they really want to be with in their journey. And the same for you. And it doesn't mean that you guys can't be friends. I mean, you can be friends. So just remember that. But she may be feeling embarrassed about it because, again, she was basically outed. Like, that's basically like an out. And it wouldn't just be for a trans person. It would be for anybody. It's a big out when someone just is like, hey, you know what? That person is blah, blah, blah. And they just tell a secret. So remember that. I would think if she really liked you and you know enough about this person, then you need to surprise her with flowers and a nice card. I know everybody wants to be on social media, and, don't do that. Don't spill your guts on social media. Please, spare us all. If anything, I would say just do it in person and make sure that you're genuine with your, feelings about this person. Because like you said, if she's smart, caring, and she's enjoying the same things that you do, what's the problem? You know what I mean? It's always a mind over matter situation. So if you don't mind, it don't matter, right? So thank you so much for the letter. Our second letter comes from a female in Atlanta. She writes, Dear Jessica, I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 months now, and he keeps asking me for money. I have a really good marketing job. We do not live together, and when we go out, it is always Dutch. Ooh. Whoa. Now that I see he has this bummy ass mentality, I want to break up with him. How do I let him down easy? Ooh, girl. I know you ready to cuss his broke ass out. Alright, and this is the thing, just for all my listeners, I want everybody to know, broke is not about a dollar sign, broke is a mentality. So if she's saying he has a bummy ass mentality, that means that he acts broke. When you ask him a question about anything like, hey, let's go to the movies, too expensive. You know what I mean? You'd be like, okay, well, how about we get some ice cream? Oh, ice cream? Why can't we just buy something from the house? It's always a broke mentality. You know what I mean? Broke is a state of mind, because you can be with someone, and when you first start out in that relationship, they don't have money. They are broke, and you are as well. But you guys evolve, you work up to it. So I want to be very clear with that. So, First off, big props to Miss Female in Atlanta, doing your own thing, marketing job, you know what I'm saying? So 3 months, 90 days. First off, why is he even asking you for anything after, you know what I mean, with 90 days? Because at this point, y'all, most couples are not engaged in sexual intercourse within the first 3 months. That, I did a survey on that. It's usually 6 months. So him asking for sex or money, he's jumping the gun, real talk, in normal people life. But if that's how you get down, that's how you get down. No judging, no shade. So, it's still too early, first off. And second off, you probably want to hang out because you have a good job. You probably want to go nice places, and he probably doesn't want to go, and then it just, hangs over your shoulder. So the way that you let him down easy is you just take him to a really nice restaurant so he don't show out. You do him just like they do us. Take him to a really nice restaurant so he don't show out. And just make sure that it's a nice night and that you talk to him. And then, try to ask the questions that you want to get answered without him coming out of a bag, without you coming out of a bag. How have my communication skills been during this relationship? Do you think there's, any flaws I could work on as a person? You know what I mean? Like, really get their insight on, you as a person before you break up with them. And then you just have that dinner, and then you make that call. Do you feel like you need to break up with them at that particular dinner? Or do you feel like after dinner, when you're in your car, you send this text message letting them know, hey, I don't think we need to be together, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And like you said, he's not living with you, so I'm sure he has little things here and there at your house where he can pick that stuff up and carry his ass. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out thing. And that's another thing. It doesn't have to be long, drawn-out. If you don't want to do the dinner with him, don't. Just, hey, I just think that, we're going separate ways. And that's not necessarily a lot. Because if he has a bummy-ass mentality and you're in a marketing job position, which means that you're constantly having to be innovative, creative, you're constantly having to up it, you guys are going in different directions. And that's not a bad thing. But always remember, if you don't want it to get bad, you know what I mean? If you want to let somebody down easy, always be nice. Be as nice as you can be with the breakup. You know what I mean? Make that person feel like you're doing them a favor by breaking up with them. And I know people are going to say, well, that's kind of foul, but sometimes it's not, because egos with men can get a little bruised when a woman wants to break up with them. And men, like they say, they get rejected a lot. We didn't know that shit because they act so confident around us. But if that's the case, then you just want to make sure that it's as classy as possible. And breaking up with somebody and doing it in a classy fashion is one of the best ways to do it. I look forward to hearing how it goes, Female in Atlanta. Thank you so much for the letter. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Season 2, we did it. Till next time, be good or be good at it. Bye.
What do you think, YouTubers? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And thanks again for watching.